You and I are going to participate in the world's greatest magic trick. So here's what you need before we get started. You need one index card, but it has to be a 3x5 card. It has to be lines on one side, blank on the other. So get that, get something to write with, and we'll be all set. And we'll be doing the world's greatest magic trick. Let me tell you something about myself. I'm Dr. Rob Gilbert. I'm a professor of sports psychology at Montclair State University in Montclair, New Jersey. I am 77 years old. I have been studying sports psychology for over 45 years. Well, my specific area is applied sports psychology. What are the techniques? What are the strategies? What are the way you train your mind? So we're going to do a little magic trick because the title of this is The Magic Index Card and how it could change your life and help you get anything and everything you want. So the Magic Index Card and how it could change your life and help you get anything and everything you want. Now, I know that sounds like a miracle, but just don't judge until the end. You call me a loser at the end. Don't call me a loser right now, because if you get your index card, we're going to get started. Now, where do we start? It has taken me 45 years to put together this lecture, and you're going to be able to watch it in 20 or 30 minutes. So I am taking 45 years of experience, 45 years of my research, 45 years of everything, and boiling it down to just the bare essentials, and this is going to work to get you to the next level. Now, I told you I teach sports psychology. Sports psychology is really a misnomer. It should be performance psychology, because the mental skills you need as an athlete are the same that you need as a musician, as a salesperson, as a coach, as a mom, as a dad, as a leader. It's all the same. So most of my analogies and most of my stories will probably be sports related because that's my area. But this is applicable to absolutely anybody. So how do you become successful? Where do we get started? Where do you get started if you want to get something or be something or do something that you don't have right now? Okay, chapter 1. Suppose you're in an airport and you go to the ticket counter and the person behind the ticket counter says, "Sir, can I help you?" And they said, "Yeah, I'd like a ticket." And what does the person say? "Well, where do you want to go to? What's your destination?" You can't just say, "Oh, I want a ticket." So the 3 words that could instantly change your life is, "I want that." Like if the ticket, I want to go there. I want to go to Buffalo. I want to go to Abilene. You know, you can't just say you want a ticket. Then you're a wandering generality. You can't be a wandering generality. You have to be a meaningful specific. The great motivational speaker Zig Ziglar said that. So are you going to be a wandering generality or a meaningful specific? So the first statement is, "I want that." So take your index card, okay? And place me on pause and go to the blank side of the card. And I want you to write down on the blank side of the card all the things you want. All the things you want. I want a grilled cheese sandwich. I want to get married. I want to be a millionaire before the age of 30. So put me on pause and give yourself a minute or two and just stream of consciousness. There are no right or wrong answers. If you want it, write it down. If you want it, write it down. Okay? Put me on pause. We're back. Hopefully you filled up the whole backside. Okay? Now, those are all the things you want. Now, those are important things, but they're not really important things. I was a wrestler in college. I went to the University of Massachusetts, and I had a fabulous coach. His name was Coach Homer Barr. And in his office, right off to the side, I saw it every time I came in, was a small poster. And there's a statement in the middle of the poster. It said, "If you really want to be a champion, then the work is no problem. If you really want to be a champion, then the work is no problem." Now I want to ask you a question. Of all those words in that sentence, there was only one that was italicized. Which one was it? If you really want to be a champion, then the work is no problem. Now, over the years, I've asked thousands of students this question, and most people say, work. Work is italic. No, really. If you really want to be a champion, then the work is no problem. That's a very, very big different statement than if you want to be a champion. If you want to be a champion, if you really want to be a champion, I want to marry you. I really want to marry you. I want to lose weight. I really want to lose weight. So there's a big difference. So statement number 2 is, what do you really want? What do you really want? I really want that. So the first statement, the first question had to do with, what do you want? And hopefully you fill this up. Now, put number 2 right on the top line. What do you really want? Now, you should be able to only write down 2 or 3 or 4 things. You can't want to be a cardiologist and a podiatrist. You can't want to be a Major League Baseball player and a Major League Hockey player. I mean, you have to specialize. So what do you really, really, really want? And what's your heart's desire? What do you want more than anything? Professionally, personally, financially. What do you really, really, really want? So this is going to take a little more time than the first question. What do you want? So I want you to put me on pause, and I want you to think about what you really, really, really want. Now, don't answer this question with your head. Well, my grandfather was an accountant, and my father was an accountant, and I guess I'm going to be an accountant. Well, do you really want to be an accountant? No, I really want to be in the art world. I really want to be a painter. So what do you really, really, really want? Now, it's crucial, no matter how old you are, that you figure out what you really, really want. Just like if you go to the ticket counter and say, I really want to go to Abilene. I really want to go there. I really want to go to Disney World. I really don't want to go to Chicago. I don't really want to go to Oklahoma City. Whatever it is, but figure out what you want, not with your head, but with your heart. So look at it this way. Suppose you could have anything you wanted. What would it be? If you could have any job, what would it be? If you could live anywhere, what would it be? If you could have any type of house, any type of car, what would you be? I really want that. So put number 2, take as much time as you want, put me on pause, and I'll be here when you get back. Good. Now, the game's over. Most people never figure out what they really, really, really want. They never figure out what they really, really, really want. If you know what you really, really want, you're on the road to success. Now, you might not be far down the road, but you are on the road. Number 3, chapter 3. New Jersey is a lot of things to a lot of people, but it's the diner state. Every town has a diner. There are diners all over the place. So suppose you come visit me at Montclair State University, my school, and you come to one of my classes and you give a guest lecture in one of my classes, and then I take you out to lunch. And we go to the Nevada Diner on Broad Street in Bloomfield, New Jersey. And so New Jersey diners have a few things in common. First of all, they have huge menus, like 16-page menus. They have everything. They have seafood. They have vegetarian. They have pizza. They have everything. And everything's usually good. So we're in the restaurant, and the waiter or waitress brings our menu, and you're going through the menu. You say, oh my God, look at this, is huge. And you're going through, I said, well, what do you want? So I don't know, there are so many things. I said, well, what do you really want? Oh, wow. The shrimp panini, whatever. Wow, I really want a shrimp panini. I said, okay, let's go. I said, what do you mean, let's go? I said, let's go. And we're back in the parking lot. And he said, what's that all about? You took me a diner, we read the menu, and that's the way most people lead their lives. They know what they want, but they don't order the meal. They don't really, 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 really go for it. I had a student last semester. He was in my freshman seminar class. And I could tell he was miserable. And after about 3 or 4 weeks, I spoke to him after class. I said, you don't want to be here, do you? He said, no. I said, where do you want to be? He said, all my buddies, all my friends are at the University of Delaware. I want to be at the University of Delaware. I said, well, can I ask you a question? He said, yeah. I said, did you apply there? He said, no. So, I mean, he really, really, you see what I'm saying? He really wanted to be at Delaware. So you really wanted to eat the meal. I took you away from the restaurant. Now, we'd go back in the restaurant and have the meal, but that's just to make the point that most people know what they want, Some people know what they really want, but they don't really go for the meal and eat the meal. This has to do with number 3, chapter 3. Are you willing to do whatever it takes? Are you willing to do whatever it takes to get what you really want? So number 3, put that on your index card. And all you have to do on your next index card next to number 3 is write yes or no. Are you willing to do whatever it takes to get whatever you want? So, suppose you want to get into medical school. Are you willing to study on Thursday nights and Friday nights and Saturday nights when everybody else is partying so you can get good enough grades to get into medical school? You know, suppose you want to become a state champion in wrestling. Are you willing to lose the weight to go down the weight class so you can become a state champion? I mean, we could go on and on and on. Are you willing to do whatever it takes? Now, one gauge to see if you are willing is, what are you willing to give up? Are you willing to give up the partying? Are you willing to give up the excess eating, drinking, whatever? Are you willing to give up hanging around? Let's look this way. Rather than hanging out, are you going to work out? Rather than sleeping, are you going to study? What are you willing to give up? Are you willing to give up your favorite TV show? Are you willing to give up so many hours on video games? What are you willing to give up? Are you willing to do whatever it takes to get what you want, to get what you really want? Question number 3, are you willing to do whatever it takes to get what you really want? So on your card, next to number 3, put yes or no. Number 4. Now, just like number 1 and 2 is what you really want supersedes what you want. Well, I'm willing to do whatever it takes is superseded by I'm eager to do whatever it takes. There's a big difference between eager and willing. Willing, I'll get to work on time. I'm willing to do that. Eager, I'll get to work 30 minutes early. See, excellence is not expected effort. Excellence is extra effort. And people who are eager will always outwork people who are willing. So, if you're ever going to be interviewed for a job, you better come across as eager and not willing. If you're interviewing people for a job, if you're hiring, you better hire people who are eager and not willing. Let me tell you a story about one of my students. He was an education major. He wanted to become a teacher and a coach. And he was a finalist for a job at a big school, a great school in New Jersey. And he went through a couple of interviews. Now he has the final interview with the superintendent. And the superintendent said, you know, maybe you could help me out because we have 4 finalists and you're one of them. But the other 3, one has 15 years experience, one has 10 years experience, and one has 5 years experience. He said, why should I ever hire you? All you've done is student taught. And he said, well, Mr. Superintendent, here's the only thing I could promise you. I am so excited about working in this school system. I'll be the first one at school in the morning. I'll be the last one to leave in the afternoon. You will never have a problem with me, and I will bring excitement into all my classes, all my teams. Now, that's pretty good. That's pretty good, and the reason I'm telling you this story is because the guy with 15 years experience didn't get the job, nor did the person with 10 or 5. He got the job based on the interview. That's what he heard later from the superintendent. He said, you were so convincing. I believed you. And the kid has followed through. He has done a great job. So, are you willing to do whatever it takes, or are you eager to do whatever it takes? Look at it this way. Are you a got to or get to? I got to work out today. Oh, I get to work out today. Just those words at a different energy level. I got to work out. I get to work out. Got to is an obligation. It's a requirement. Get to is an opportunity. So are you got to or get to? Are you willing or eager? So let's review. What do you want? I want that. What's your that? I really want that. What's your that? What's your that I really want? Are you willing to do whatever it takes? Are you eager to do whatever it takes? So if you know what you really want and you're eager to do whatever it takes, you're eager to give up whatever, you're eager to ask for help, you're eager to work out 2 or 3 times, whatever you have to do, are you eager to do it? So right now, If you answer those questions correctly, nobody's going to be able to compete with you. Now, number 5. Now, are you eager to start right now? Are you eager to start doing whatever it takes right now? My experience as a teacher and a seminar leader and a speaker is that if people don't put into practice what they learn in class within 24 to 48 hours, they never ever will. So what is your next baby step? What do you have to do? Just a baby step. It's like, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So what's the next bite you have to take? Who do you have to call? Where do you have to go? What do you have to read? What do you have to start practicing? Whatever. Do you need a tutor? Do you need a coach? What do you need that will get you going in the right direction? Because if you're going in the wrong direction, you're going to be working hard. We want you to work hard and work smart. So let's review. I want that. What's your that? I really want that. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get what I really want. I'm eager to do whatever it takes to get what I want. And I'm excited and eager to start right now. How are we doing so far? So let's review. What do you want? Answer the question, I want that. Put it on your card. Number 2, I really want that. And of course, you could always change this. Your I really wants could change. Are you willing to do whatever it takes? Now, if you're not willing to do whatever it takes, it doesn't mean you're lazy. It means you don't have what you really, really, really want. I've seen students that were the worst students, the laziest students, and then when they changed their major and they started studying what they really, really wanted, all of a sudden they became superstars. So don't be so tough on yourself. If you're not motivated, it might be because you haven't really discovered what you really, really want. See, you need goals. Goals motivate people. So you're saying, well, I don't have a goal. Well, if you don't have a goal, that's good news because your goal was to find your goal. If you don't know what you really, really, really want is to find what you really, really, really want. If that makes any sense, and it does. If you don't know what you really, really, really want, your goal is to find what you really, really want. And that's what you really want at this stage. So are you willing to do whatever it takes? Are you eager to do whatever it takes? And are you willing and eager to start right now? I was thinking of all the people in the world. The name that just came to mind is Alexander Karelin from the former Soviet Union. Maybe the greatest wrestler who ever lived anywhere, anytime, anyplace. Greco-Roman wrestler, competed from 1986 to 2000. I think he only lost 2 matches ever. He's a 3-time gold medalist. Every year he won the world championship. And he was 6'3", 286 pounds, virtually no fat, like 7% body fat. And behind his back, they nicknamed him the Experiment because they figured out he must have been on some drugs. So one day, a very courageous sports writer said, Alexander, behind your back, your competitors call you the Experiment. He said, what do you think about that? He said, oh, I've heard they call me that. He said, I'm on a drug, and my drug is hard work. I train harder every day than my competitors train Let's repeat that. I train harder. So when he was asked by the sports writer, what do you think of being called the Experiment? He said, I am on a drug, and I do test positive, and the drug is hard work. I train harder every day than my opponents will train any day. So let me say it a little slower. I train harder every day than my opponents will train any day. So suppose you're in a physics class. You study harder Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday than the people who just study for the exams on Thursday night. That's what I'm talking about. Outwork your competition, whether you're in school, whether you're in sales, whether you're in sports, anything. Hard work will never, ever fail you, but you can't just work hard. You also have to work smart. So I work harder every day than my opponents will work any day. So I want that. I really want that. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I'm eager to whatever it takes, and I'm willing and eager to start right now. Right now. And number 6, I want you to be like Dennis. One of the really great things about being a college professor is you could ask people to speak in your classes, and a lot of times they say yes. Sometimes you pay them, sometimes you don't. Well, one of the people I paid very gladly was Dennis Rogers from Houston, Texas. Check out his YouTube videos. The greatest strongman who has ever lived. So when I say strongman, people think of somebody Corellan size. No. Dennis was 5'6", 5'7", 160, 165 pounds. On YouTube, you'll see him holding his arms like that, holding Piper Cub planes from taking off or Harleys from taking off. He's done strength feats that nobody has ever done before. Well, the few times I could afford him and he came to my class, he, just like any strongman, he ripped the New York City phone book, he blew up a hot water bottle, he bent steel. Just amazing. But that's not what I wanted my students to see. Because Dennis possesses the most amazing psychological characteristic that you could possibly possess. If you could develop this psychological characteristic, you are going to be a superstar no matter what field you're in. So Dennis is doing his strength feats, and every once in a while, the hot water bottle wouldn't burst, or the piece of steel wouldn't bend, and then you saw it. Dennis got turned on by the difficulty. When he couldn't rip the head off the wrench, he got turned on. He got excited by difficulty. The rest of the world gets turned off by difficulty. He's getting turned on by difficulty. So be like Dennis. Can you be turned on? So you're a wrestler, and you go against the number 1 seed. You're seed number 16. Get turned on by that. Math problems, get turned on by the difficulty. Now, I'm not saying in each and every aspect of your life, but if you're really into sports, get turned on by training. If you're really into physics, get turned on by physics problems. Get turned on by the physics lab, not turned off. And this is such a key thing. Can you get turned? Because there's going to be difficulty. Life is a continuous series of problem-solving events. So are you going to get turned on by the problems or turned off by the problems? Let me show you what I mean. I'm going to give you a problem. It's called a brain teaser. This is a Roman numeral 9. By using one line, make this 9 into a 6. So this is by using one line, make this 9 into a 6. Now, when I'm going over this in class, after about a minute, I say, okay, everybody stop. How many people, right now, they say, don't tell me the answer, I want to figure it out on my own. Put your hands up. And how many people say, oh, I hate doing these things, let's move on. And it's usually about 50-50. Some people are like, oh, I love doing these things, and some people, I hate doing these things. Well, if you hate doing brain teasers, don't do brain teasers for a living. If you hate math, don't do math for a living. If you love doing things like this, but the problem isn't the problem. How you handle the problem is the problem. Because I know something about you that you probably don't know. This is not a difficult problem to solve, but you've made it difficult. Let me tell you how you made it difficult. You might have told yourself, how do I make that Roman numeral 9 into a Roman numeral 6? I never said Roman numeral 6. You said Roman numeral 6. And another thing you told yourself is, it has to be a straight line. I never said it had to be a straight line. And so it's a Roman numeral. What else are they? They're also letters. So if I give you an I and an X, by using one line, how do you make it into a 6? That's not too hard. So the problem isn't the problem. How you handle the problem is the problem. So get turned on by difficulty. Get turned on by difficult opponents. Get turned on by difficult clients. Get turned on by difficult, you fill in the blank. So I want that. I really want that. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I'm eager to do whatever it takes. I'm going to start now. I'm going to be like Dennis. And there's only one last thing we have to talk about. KO. Keep on keeping on. Don't quit, can't fail. Don't quit, can't fail. Just keep on keeping on. Do not give up. I think it was Winston Churchill said that success is going from failure to failure with no lack of enthusiasm. So success is going from failure to failure with no diminishment in enthusiasm. So let me show you what I mean. See, some people can't keep on keeping on. Some people have everything. They know what they want. They know what they really want. They're doing whatever it takes. We're eager to do whatever it takes. They're willing to start now. They're like Dennis. But then all of a sudden, there's some sort of glitch that happens. Something happens, and it happens all the time. I want to tell you about the greatest moment in sports. You could see it in the fall. You could see it every Saturday about 1 o'clock. Put on your TV, and you'll see something amazing. You'll see a football game, a college football game, say at the University of Michigan. The University of Michigan seats over 109,900 people. That's a lot of people. So it's right before the football game begins. The team is in the tunnel, okay? The band, 200, 300 people in the band, maybe 400 people in the band. The cheerleaders, the fans. I mean, it's an adrenaline rush. I mean, the fans are there, the cheerleaders are there, the band is there. And then all of a sudden, the team comes out of the tunnel and they're almost floating. They're jumping as high as a Olympic high jumper. They are so on fire. It's exciting. That's why 109,000 people show up. It's exciting. But that's not the greatest moment in sports. The greatest moment in sports is 3 hours later, in the middle of the fourth quarter, and the score is Ohio State 49, Michigan 7, and you see the same guys that were jumping up with this adrenaline rush. They're sitting on the bench with their head down, not even watching the game, looking at the ground. What happened? What happened? So the greatest moment in sports is not what that football player is doing. It's what the cheerleaders are doing. The cheerleaders are still into it. It could be 106-7, and the cheerleaders will still be into it. So I want you to be a cheerleader. I want you to have that endless, because here's the big problem we have. I'll talk about sports, but it's true in every aspect of our life. We want to win. Everybody wants to win. I want to win, I want to win, I want to win, I want to win. And if you want to win, these are my PowerPoints, by the way. If you really, really want to win, this is how your season is going to be. This is how your life is going to be. You're going to have ups, the wins, the losses, the wins, the losses, You're going to be on a roller coaster. I'm going to try to convince you of something that I think is unbelievably important. See, you're focusing on win, 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 win. Now you see this horizontal line? That's the line of a winner. I want you to focus on being a winner. I want you to focus on acting like a winner, whether you're winning or losing. I gave a talk, Westfield High School, the other day. Very, very good girls' high school volleyball program. So they're getting ready for the end of the season tournaments. And I said, okay, suppose you're just about to begin the state tournament, but you have a few days off. So your coach wants to schedule a scrimmage so you don't get rusty. And just by chance, the Brazilian national volleyball team is touring America. So Coach Barb gets in touch with them and they schedule for the Brazilian national volleyball team, the Olympic team, to come to Westfield High School. The whole town comes out. It's electric. Now, you're high school kids and you're playing an Olympic team, so don't expect much. Well, guess who comes to the game? Grandma and Grandpa. Grandma and Grandpa have never come to one of your games. And you get blown out. 21-1, 21-3, 21-2, and the points you got, they more or less gave them to you, And after the game, Grandma and Grandpa come out of the stands and they're all excited. They said, how did you beat the Brazilian team? You guys were great. Grandma and Grandpa thought you won because you guys were so into it. See, being into it, acting like a winner, is people never knew you're losing. If they don't look at the scoreboard, they don't know that you've lost. So you want to be a winner all the time. not just when you're winning and losing. Winners act like winners when they're winning, and winners act like winners when they're losing. If you're focusing, so what are you going to focus on? Do you want to be on this roller coaster, or do you want to be, and this is what leaders are. This is what champions are. They do this all the time. So, number one, I want that. What's your that? Number two, I really want that. Number three, are you willing to do whatever it takes to get what you really want? Are you eager to do? Will you start now? So, are you going to start now? And there's a saying that said, when's the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago was the best time to plant a tree. The second best time is now. So start right now. A year from today, you will have wished you started today. Are you going to Coco? Keep on keeping on. Don't quit, can't fail. Keep on keeping on. Coco, don't quit, can't fail. Don't quit, can't fail. And be like Dennis. Get turned on by difficulties because there are going to be difficulties. And every part of your life is going to be difficulties. But as I said, the problem isn't the problem. How you handle the problem is the problem. Can you be like Alexander Krillin? I work harder every day than my opponents work any day. And there's one more superstar to talk to you about. Now, I want you to have this card filled out. And I want you to keep it with you 24/7, 365. Why? Because of Milt. Let me tell you about Milt. Suppose it's the first day of school and you're in the 11th grade. You're a junior in high school. And your friend Milt is sitting right next to you. And you say, hey, Milt, I haven't seen you all summer. Where were you? He said, oh, I was in Helsinki, Finland. What in the world were you doing in Helsinki, Finland? Oh, I was on the Olympic team. I won a silver medal in the decathlon. Milt Campbell won a silver medal in the decathlon before his junior year in high school even began. Milt Campbell is what I consider the greatest athlete who ever lived. 4 years later, he's at Indiana University. He wins the gold medal. He had a black belt in judo. He played in the NFL. He played in the Canadian Football League. He's in the Swimming Hall of Fame. I mean, this guy is a superstar beyond superstars. So I was lucky enough to have, and I'm serious, I consider him the greatest athlete who ever lived in the history of the world. And he came to my class. And he's very impressive. Even when he was in his 70s, he looked like he was an NFL player. 6'3", 215 pounds, maybe 8% body fat. And he said to my class, looks around after he speaks for a while, I said, how many of you have goals? Everybody put up their hand. How many of you have ever written down your goals? And about half the people put up their hand. He said, how many of you that have written down your goals, have you written down goals with you right now? Nobody put up their hand. He said, one of the reasons I've had such success in sports is way back when one of my track coaches told me to write down my goals on an index card and keep them with me 24/7. To be constant and continuous reminders. So, went to sleep, they'd be under my pillow. Working out, they'd be in my sock. Take a shower, I put them in a plastic bag. Now, is this a pain in the neck? Of course it is. But is it, like a coach, is it a constant and continuous reminder? Yes. So every time you put your hand in your pocket to get your keys, change. Every time you put your hand in your pocket to get some change, you're reminded of your goals. So what you want to do is you want to have your index card. That's why at the very beginning, we said this is the magic index card that will change your life. Now, can you change what's on the index card? Of course. Can you change the fact that it's going to be with you 24/7, 365? No. Not if you want to be a winner. Not if you want to achieve your goals. So what we've done is I hope we've done magic today. We figured out what you want. We figured out what you really want. We figured out that you're willing and eager to do. We figured out that you're going to start now. You're going to keep on keeping on. You're going to be like Dennis. And you're going to have your little card with you. The magical card you'll keep with you all the time is a constant and continuous reminder. Will this work? Well, this will work if you work it. If you work these techniques, it will work because you will have the proper mindset, you will have the proper motivation. And what if there comes a time that you don't feel like being like Dennis? You don't feel like outworking other people. Well, just act as if, just make believe, just pretend. Look at all these people in movies and on Broadway stages that are getting paid millions and millions of dollars by acting as if, pretending and making believe. You could do the same thing. You don't have to feel like it to do it, but once you start doing it, you probably feel like it. Another great guest speaker I had come to my class was one of the world's great marathon runners, Tom Fleming. And this was later in his life when he was a coach. And he was talking about his career, and among other things, he won the New York City Marathon twice. And one of my students said, you know, when you were a world-class runner, how many miles were you running a week? And he said, well, I was running about 135 to 150 miles a week. And the student said, 135 to 100, that's unbelievable. Then another student said, Coach Fleming, did you always feel like running? Then he said something revelatory. He said, most days I didn't feel like running until I started running. Most days I didn't feel like running until I started. You're not going to feel like studying until you start studying. You're not going to feel like working out until you start working out. You're not going to feel like making sales calls until you start making sales calls. Put your body in motion and the emotions will follow. If you say, well, when I feel like it, then I'll do it, you'll wait forever. But when you do it, then you'll start feeling like it. That's when you're going to get stuff done. So my name is Dr. Rob Gilbert. One of the things you might want to check out is my success hotline. Every single day I leave motivational messages. If you like the stories I told you on this little speech we've had together, you'll like my hotline. If you didn't like them, don't call my hotline. You'll just get more of the same. I would like to thank my hotline callers because what I told you today was edited by the people who call my hotline. I put bits and pieces of this speech on my hotline, and they gave me expert feedback. So 973-743-4690. If you would like to get in touch with me for any reason, send me a story at AOL.com. Send me a story at AOL.com. And I would like to thank Billy Pinkney for his excellent videography and his outstanding editing. Thank you, Billy. I think we're done. I think we performed a magic trick that is going to produce magical miracles in your life.